What is up? It's your boy jonni.shreve. I have BB promos and tell like it is, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Coaching Up. Today, guys, we got Jay Cutler, and this time he's with Tristyn Lee. I mean, I've been bodybuilding for 10 years and I can't get a workout with Jay Cutler. I didn't get my subscribers up. So guys, get me to 100,000 subscribers so I can get some tips from him. I wouldn't mind working out with him before the show. Know how much motivation that is? Work out with Jay Cutler, 4-time Mr Olympia. Dude's a legend. I've already watched this video, guys, so I'm just gonna do what I normally do, guys. We're gonna see if Jay Cutler's got some good knowledge and good information to give to you guys to optimize your training. He's gonna help Mr. Tristyn Lee out with his back exercises. We'll see. Bet you he is. It's Jay Cutler. Here I am again, already fanboying. Jeez. Anyway, let's go.
Like and comment on this video.
All right, so they're already posing and stuff. Let me get some posing tips.
So today, we're gonna do a little back training.
All right, so we got a back workout today, guys.
And I'm gonna start with a machine pull down, okay, which you can kind of rotate the grips here. So ideally, the first exercise I always start with is gonna be a reverse grip pull down, okay? I feel that pulls the lats. So what I was trying to duplicate when I was up and coming was the first pose, which was the front double bicep. So I said, okay, how can I bring the lats out the most? I believe the reverse grip, it kind of duplicates like that double bicep where you can pop the lat.
That's an awesome information right there already, guys. I say this to a lot of my athletes that I coach, and we want to take our training to better our posing. Every exercise we do when we train should transfer over to our poses and vice versa, because when you're doing the poses, you're activating the same muscles you'd be doing if you're actually doing the actual exercises. So when it comes to supinated or reverse grip pull downs, yes, you're getting a lot more of your lats coming out. When you go supinated, you pull that teres major minor gonna come out a little bit more. So that makes a lot of sense. It's stuff that I already do. Awesome information. That's a great tip right there. So guys, any of you guys that are bodybuilding that are coming up, you should be training to better your posing. You're getting judged on your poses. So make sure your training is going to optimize your posing.
So my goal is really just to try to get that V taper.
And exactly. So guys, if we're looking to get that width, we're looking to get wider, we want to do vertical pulls. Anything pulling from above the head. And if you want to change hand placements, what does that actually do? Well, it just helps you have more bicep help. So if we go from a wide grip like this, or it doesn't matter if it's wide or narrow, let's just say for the sake of it, this first exercise if we're doing a pull from here from above the head, we're doing a pronated grip, we're using less bicep. Using more bicep, the most bicep, right? And then obviously the closer you go, the easier it's gonna be, the wider you go, the harder it's gonna be. Remember guys, the further away your hands go from your midline, the harder the exercise is. So you think about it, doing a pull from down here, a lot easier. Doing a pull from up here, a lot harder, right? And then when you change your hand placement, it's gonna change how much bicep help you're gonna get when you do your pull. So when it comes to getting the most out of your pull, if you're looking at like getting a lot more reps, a little more control, really emphasizing that teres major minor right here, supinated is really gonna do that. Now supinated a little bit wider outside shoulder width apart is gonna help you get that really good width, a nice pump right here when you pull. So remember guys, hand placements is gonna change how much bicep help you're gonna get. Further away from midline, it's gonna change how hard the movement's actually gonna be. Let's move on, let's watch this first set. Here we go.
Or feel sets, and then work into 3 working sets, pyramiding the weight up. I'm gonna aim for 12 or 15 reps, so just get a good feel. I don't really count.
Let's pull this down. Okay, so we got the pulls. Again, now looking at Jay, he's giving a little bit of leverage. He's getting a little bit of swing there, but he's not arching back too much. He's giving a little bit of a pull from here to get the weight down, and that's completely fine. It's when you're doing too much of this shit and coming all the way back and using too much momentum and too much swing to pull the weight down. A little bit of momentum is gonna help get that concentric, but then you wanna really emphasize the negative, right? Again, what Jay Cutler does, you can't do. So make sure you guys stick to the basics when it comes to full range of motion, time of attention, and keeping a good neutral spine.
An article in the magazines back in the day where I talked about like the hook. Yeah. So even like with barbell rows, even with deadlifts, I don't grip. I actually just kind of hook with my fingers. I got really strong hands, obviously with years of training, but that's how I usually, and then I'll use the strap.
Yo, homeboy's wearing a shirt that says #legend. Yeah. Awesome. I need a shirt that says #legend. That's awesome. Anyway guys, so when it comes to hand placement, now some of you guys talk about like, oh, you're gonna lose your grip strength. Man, don't use straps, blah, blah, blah. Unless you're in a sport where you're getting judged on your grip strength, don't worry about your grip strength. The reason why is your lats have a lot more stamina than your grip. So using stuff like straps is gonna help you pull, exhaust the muscle. You don't wanna lose reps because you lose your grip and you lose about 3-4 reps on your lats, right? Now when it comes to actually pulling, if you're not using straps, you can get away with just using these 3 fingers. You don't need to use these fingers at all. You can use these 3 fingers here. These are your pulling fingers, your pulling hook. Now I'm not saying sit there and pull like this. Make sure you're gripping, but if you emphasize pulling from these 3 fingers here, you're gonna get a lot more of a connection that's gonna come all the way up. When you're pulling again, we want to pull with that elbow. We're not really pulling with our hands. He talked about having a hook grip. That's basically all it is. Even when you're doing any kind of pulls, you're doing deadlifts too. So your hands are like hooks, your arms like ropes. Think about that. And when you pull that elbow pulling right back, right? So when it comes to grip strength, don't worry about grip strength. Unless you're a powerlifter, cool. And I'm not saying don't worry about grip strength and just forget about grip strength. I'm saying don't lose reps because your grip failed. So use straps, right? It's totally fine to use straps.
As long as we can get some sort of a grip like this, that's what we're aiming for.
All right. Now when it comes to pulling, I always tell you guys when it comes to pulling, you see Tristyn's back's kind of rolling like this, right? We want to make sure that we finish the lift with our chest high, right? When you're pulling, if you're gonna fail with your chest up. When I say pull and greet your chest to the bar. Don't pull from here and all of a sudden you're starting to pull your traps over. Remember, when you're pulling, our lats do shoulder depression, right? They pull our shoulders down. So when you're coming up and you're pulling down, don't let your shoulders come up. Now, if you want to get stretching, there's things I do all the time where I get a nice stretch, and sometimes I do let myself come all the way up and stretch. That's to get a lot more stretch and get my rhomboids and my rear delts to help pulling that weight down. But when I come all the way down, if I can't get that rep and I'm failing, I'm gonna fail like this. I don't wanna fail doing this and then kind of doing this roll thing here to try and pull the weight down. If it's a chin up, it's not necessarily mean get your chin over the bar. It means get your chin up. Pull your chin up, not over, right? So you wanna avoid the trap working and really rolling over, because at that point, you're not using your back anymore. You're using your traps and your biceps to pull down. We're using our back the entire time all the way up. So if you guys seen a lot of my Becoming Lean and Great Reset videos, if you watch any of the pulls I do, I'm always finishing with my chest up. I'm never gonna have my traps rolling because my traps have nothing to do with pulling motions. Traps have everything to do with shrugging. Any kind of, movement when it comes to any lateral movements like that. I don't train my traps whatsoever. Your traps do a lot of work when it comes to just your accessory work, like in shoulders, your lateral raises, front raises, rear. They help with about 10 to 20 degrees of that movement coming up. Then the rest of it, your shoulder takes over. Again, we're talking back. So again, don't get your traps out of the equation. Where'd my pen go? God damn. Here it is. Let's go. Damn, that weight pulled him already up. I almost flung him out of the damn freaking.
You were this way. That's a good thing about when you train with different people, and I stress this, everyone's gonna have their technique different. And never follow someone else if it's not comfortable for you. So that's the thing, when you have trainer partners, everyone's gonna have different variations. So keep that in mind. Don't think because, oh, my trainer partner does it this way, I have to do it that way, right?
And that is a good point, guys. When it comes to training, they're doing back. They're doing a vertical pull. They're going to hit the same muscle regardless if they're going to be doing a pronated, supinated, or neutral grip. That teres major, minor, that big chunk of meat sitting at the big width part of your lat is still going to work. Like I said, the only thing that's going to change is how much bicep help you're going to get. Now, you can definitely emphasize a little bit more of that teres major, minor when you do supinate, but when we're talking about what's comfortable for you, do that. But I'm going to add something. Technique is still going to be number one. So it doesn't matter if you want to change your hand placement, we're still going to finish a rep like this and not like this.
So whatever I tell you, hey, this is how I do it, doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be done that way.
Yeah, we got to rewind that. This is rewind. Rewind that. Let's hear it again.
So whatever I tell you, hey, this is how I do it, doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be done that way.
You let it
I do a little turn, but it doesn't matter as long as you get that at the end.
Rewind.
So whatever I tell you, hey, this is how I do it, doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be done that way.
From the legend himself, I'm telling you, Jay can do it, you can't do it. Do you, let Jay do him. Don't say, oh, Jay's doing this. And I'm guilty of the same thing. I used to always watch bodybuilders that I admired. Flex Lewis, Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, Will Bonac, you know, a lot of bodybuilders I look at. And when I was younger in the game, I did try to do what they did. But my stride didn't come to really halfway through my career. And now, as a pro, coaching myself, I know exactly what I need to do for my body to be able to create the physique that I want. Remember, guys, your physique is your physique. So when you're trying to create your physique, you can't take someone else's and try and do what they're doing to create your own physique. You can take the basics of technique and the similarities and the consistencies when it comes to technique, form, effort. But when you're creating your own physique, you got to stick in your lane. Do what you can do, what's optimal for what your body can actually handle.
Let it I do a little turn, but it doesn't matter as long as you get that at the end. So it's going to draw the lower lats in, but also pull these at the top of the movement. You're going to
see, I like how he's actually coaching. He's right away. Again, now, this is what I was talking about. Iron sharpens iron, right? You got to watch your pro train with another kid. Like, not even a kid, but like, you know, Tristyn's a freaking good athlete. Tristyn's a great athlete. But you don't see Jay letting him do what he was doing when he comes in. Tristyn trains the way he trains, and he's used to training that way. So whenever Tristyn does any kind of pulls, he's used to pulling and having his traps come down. Jay's like, nah, let's fix this and make sure that we finish with those lats engaging and pulling down. Again, the lats are doing the pull, not your biceps. Your biceps are helping out, but your lats are doing the work, and those lats need to continue to be depressed every single time. So let's watch how he corrects his form. You see the difference in that? That is a way better overall lift than before. He's failing with that full range of motion. Now again, when it comes to full range, you thought, well, where's full range? Elbow to the side. That's it, right? From here, and the elbow comes right down
here. Right here is a question. I usually do a one-arm dumbbell row is usually what I prefer to do. So what I'm trying to do with this, okay, I'm gonna lean in. I want to drag forward to stretch the lat. A lot of people row straight up and down. I try to drag a little bit and lengthen that lat. Ideally, I mean, you're supposed to keep your head up a little bit and do it right, but watch how I drag forward. That's kind of the key what I do. Not to say that's exactly what you need to do, but it's just a...
Now, this is a technique that I do all the time. Now, for guys who are just starting out, I really want them to really understand how to keep their shoulders depressed and then keep those rhomboids engaged so they're back. But when you do a lift, when you're doing back, you want to make sure you're staying like this. So a lot of times when we're pulling, your basic thing to do is to make sure that our shoulders stay like this. So when you do pull, rather if you're rowing, and you have a little bit of a hinge in your hips, and you do a little bit of this, you're still keeping that shoulder down and back. Now, the advanced version of that, to really get a lot more of the emphasis on your lats and really gas them up more, is the same technique that Jay's doing. And I do it all the time. You guys watch my video, watch my back videos, watch kind of Lean and Greg Doucette, you know, Road to 212. You see me train, you'll see that I do a lot of stretching. I'll stretch that lat out. Now, when I stretch, I'm reaching, but still dipping that shoulder down. I don't want to reach and have my traps up this way. I'm still reaching and my shoulders are still depressed. We're here and then we're pulling. Now, when it comes to stretching, why are we lengthening ourselves through that? We're really just stretching that lat out. We're really stretching that lat muscle, the teres major minor right there to pull. Now, when it comes to this kind of pull, this is more of a horizontal pull or something more so like from a deficit, I say. Remember, width is gonna come from vertical, thickness is gonna come from those horizontal pulls or those deficit pulls, right? Now, when you're doing that stretch motion, you're getting a little more of that teres major and minor engage again. And you're like, what's teres major minor? Keep saying that shit. Your teres major minor, basically this muscle here, right underneath your lat, right underneath your shoulder here. This is primarily responsible for pulling this guy down this way. The lat pulls this muscle down, this shoulder down, and the lat also does shoulder rotation this way too. So it does that. So when you're talking about doing like a front lat spread, that helps out. It's the combination of doing this and shoulders down and here. So when we're doing this lift, this is a really good lift to do to help emphasize really being able to get that lat up and keeping the shoulders down. We don't want to do a front lat spread like this. We want to keep it up. Same thing here, we're really getting that. Remember, again, we want to make sure that the lifts we're doing, they're going to translate over to posing. They should help your posing. Posing is the skill of the sport. Just like baseball, swinging a bat, throwing a ball, catching a ball, running bases, those are all the skill of the sport. Every sport trains to better their performance for whatever sport they're in. So for us bodybuilders, posing is our skill we have to showcase in the end. So your training should be emphasizing your posing. Make sense? All right, let's keep going. Now, Jay knows his body very well. So when it comes to him doing his sets, this is what Jay can do. You can't do it, you do the basics until you can master the basics, then you can start throwing in some other things and be a little more fancier. Good, so remember again, when we're talking about doing any kind of like rows, we wanna make sure that we're pulling that shoulder back first and then finishing the row. Don't try and pull the elbow and have your shoulders interior rotated this way. You wanna make sure they stay back when you're rowing. So if you're going to stretch a little bit, make sure that it comes back first and then we pull the elbow. We don't wanna pull the elbow and then I'm doing this kind of stuff here.
You see how he engages the lat, that first position to hold the lat. So a lot of it's mind to muscle connection when you get the position. Like you'll notice even when I sit into the first, I'll throw my lats to kind of get that position so I know to.
Again, the mind to muscle connection. If you don't have a good mind to muscle connection, if you're not aware of what you're doing, your body is just doing what it does and reacting to its stimulus. Once you have control, once you start to have that good mind to muscle connection, you're telling your muscles to do exactly what you want it to do, which is gonna force your muscles to adapt faster to be able to grow the way you want them to grow. You have to take control over your lifts. We are in control of both movements, both the push and the pull. Remember guys, muscles don't push, all muscles pull. Say it again, all muscles pull. Bicep pulls, the tricep pulls, the chest pulls, the rear delt pulls, the shoulder pulls, right? All your muscles do are just pulling. So if you think about that, we're controlling the entire movement. All right, let's move on. Next exercise. It's funny because when I turned pro, Chris Wong, Pro Bodybuilder Canada, has a show, the King Kong Classic. And every year, whoever in Canada becomes a pro, he always has them as their guest poser. That time, Tristyn was like my opener. And when I met him, he was just like a charisma. The guy was awesome. The guy was pretty cool. And he just had this small following. Blink million, right? So when it comes to young guys out there, don't think that Tristyn's some kind of one-off. Tristyn just put his mind to it, stuck to it, stayed consistent, and the guy is extremely successful. I admire the kid too. I look up to Tristyn. Even though he's way younger than me, I still admire that, and that motivates me to get my channel to where I want it to go. Going from 10,000 last year to 91,000 this year and almost close to 100,000, and then one day a million. So guys, girls, circles, chase your dreams, follow your dreams, stay consistent. Don't fall off the bandwagon. I've had a channel since 2012, right? God damn, I need to get down. Jay Cutler, man, yo, this train, man. Yo, I'm low-key jealous of these kids, man. I'm envious in a good way. You can be envious, just don't be jealous and hateful. You have a little envy. That kind of makes you hungry to kind of chase dreams even more. And I like that, seeing this, you know what I mean? And you know what, man? Watching Jay Cutler with these guys, man, with these kids is phenomenal. This is one of the things we need more often. He's way over those guys. Those guys don't even probably remember when he was bodybuilding, but he's still relevant. He's still the top in the sport, still the top in the industry. Everybody knows Jay Cutler. It's pretty dope.
Mr. Olympia changes the routine for the up-and-coming stars. All right, how much weight here? Just 3 sets again.
All right. All right, now we're doing T-bar rows. Now, T-bar rows are one of my favorite movements. I love T-bar rows because we get a good chest support, take a lot of the load off our back. We don't have to really worry about stabilizing too much in our back, but I'm gonna say this. When you're doing T-bar rows, continue to engage your core. I like doing T-bar rows. He's doing a little bit of a hyperextension or a little extension in his back, meaning when he's rowing, his chest is kind of coming off, and that's fine. But I like to give the analogy when it comes to pushing, when you're doing bench press, I give the analogy of always pushing yourself into the ground. When it comes to doing back, I like to give the analogy of pulling yourself into the ground, right? Now, even when Jay's actually coming up, he's still bringing his chest in front, right? Good. That's a good spot. Guys, remember, you want to keep yourself in the same form. If you guys are spotting each other, make sure you spot your partner so that you can continue to keep the tempo and the technique consistent.
My training started before hammer strength existed. So you can imagine the people that adapted to machine training. It did not exist when I started. It was just squats, deadlifts, bench press, you know, shoulder presses, all that stuff. It was dumbbells and barbells, that was it.
That's stuff you gotta like think about when it comes to these guys. That's why I like watching the older guys train and whatnot. They had to really just find what worked with the most basic stuff. Like think about it. When the current situation, when the Cove happened, everybody lost a gym or whatever. Some people only have a barbell and a rack at home, screwed. Meanwhile, that's all they had back then was basically your basic movements. And they perfected those movements. And then when you add in, you know, all these machines, pin loaded, plate loaded, hammer strength, arsenal strength, all these machines, 10 machines for one muscle group, spoiled. A lot of y'all are spoiled out there. These gyms have so much stuff there that most of you guys really only need the basics and learn that first before you jump into all these machines. But machines play a part in a good role because you can sit and isolate, not have to worry really about hurting yourself as much. When you're using barbells, free weight, there's a lot more stabilization has to happen and there's a lot more room to injure yourself, especially if you have an ego. So that's more reason not to have an ego then. But again, now take that ego away and really hone in on your reps and the quality of your sets. With the machines you have, you can really build a great physique, right? But really, you only need the basics.
Which I don't mind. I actually like working with free weights.
It's a good base to start, especially at your age, but as you get smarter and wiser and more advanced, the machine equipment is beneficial, right? So I'm engaging every rep.
Exactly. So that's a good thing about machines. He said that. The best thing with machines is you can sit in the machine and really focus on the movement and not really worry too much about balance and stabilization, which isn't a bad thing. But again, he's saying that in the case of once you know your body well enough, yes, go in the machines, because sometimes once you hop in the machine before anything else, you take away all of that development of the stabilization muscles, really understanding and figuring out your body and how it moves. So for the most part, guys, I really recommend starting out with basic free weight movements, barbell, dumbbell movements. Start with a weight that you can control, that you can get exhausted with, and then, you know, adding in machines. I am machines galore right now because, again, I got back issues, I've injured myself a lot, plus I know my body a lot more than I ever have, so I can do so much more on a machine now because I've had so much more time before with free weights. So take that and run with it.
I would focus on width one day and more thickness on other days. So you gotta have a lot of width and a lot of depth.
Now when it comes to these movements again, you're looking at this, great moving, right? We wanna make sure we're pulling the shoulders back, rhomboids, rear delts, traps, pulling in. That's fine to do a little bit of that momentum there, as long as we're not going from here, then all the way back here. We don't wanna be pulling and doing this and then coming all the way back and doing this because you lost that range of motion. Look how much less range I have in where my shoulders and my lats are going than if I'm here, right? There's more of a load on my lats, my rear delts, my rhomboids, erectors, everything here than being like this. You shorten it. So when it comes to doing rows, it's totally fine to have a little bit of movement here. It's totally fine to have that. But going from here all the way here, you're just cheating at that point. You're not really getting anything done. But watching the set again, really good set, really good rep.
I tore both my biceps, so sometimes it holds
right?
a bit, you know. Best exercise for your lats, though. Yeah.
I love, you know, the thing, this is what I love about Jay, you know what I mean? You're always gonna learn so much. The pull-ups, if anything, I tell everybody this, if you wanna have a big back, sit in a freaking pull-up bar. Just do pull-ups. If you can do pull-ups, 10 reps, 3 sets of 10 reps, you're gonna get a good, strong, stable, balanced back. That's why in my programs, I put pull-ups in it the entire time. There was always gonna be pull-ups in one of those days you're doing back. It's gonna be the opener. Now for me, when it comes to actually training, you've seen me do a warm-up set with a machine, first to pull to warm up my biceps and my back, and then I'll hop in the rack and do pull-ups. So I kind of prime my body first before I try and get in there kind of cold. I don't like doing pull-ups cold. I kind of warm myself up. Only one set, a little bit of weight, get the blood going, and then I'll get in the rack and do pull-ups. But again, pull-ups is the best, the absolute best movement you can do to build a nice, wide, balanced back. All right, guys, that's it. And then they're gonna do some bicep curls, and we're not gonna sit and watch bicep curls. I'll do another video on biceps of the day. But guys, absolutely amazing video, man. Again, let's give me 100K subscribers so I can go train with Jay Cutler, damn it. Anyway, guys, we're gonna end it here, man. Awesome video, man. Again, Tristyn's got a great channel. You guys wanna get, watch a good channel with a kid who's, got a world of knowledge, who's focused, consistent. Tristyn's got a good channel. Obviously, you guys watch him, you guys get a million freak. You don't gotta get me to tell you to watch him. You're probably watching him. Either way, guys, awesome video again. Awesome collaboration. Again, guys, let's get me to 100K. I need to go train with Jay Cutler, damn it. Damn it, Jay Cutler, if you're watching this, man, I'd love to train with you. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked the video, guys. If you did, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. I'm gonna come with that 10 like it is. Vulnerable, transparent truth. If we're coaching, guys, jonni.shreve.com. Right now, I got a sale on all packages. Johnny 50% off all my packages, guys, not including the phone consults. But again, if you wanna know what my coaching is all about, book a phone consult. Ask me anything you wanna know about training, supplementation, nutrition, and then after, if you decide you want to go with coaching, whether it's one-time plan or an ongoing recurring plan, Johnny 15% off of that plan. And again, guys, use my code Johnny15 for 50% off that Power 13 cookbook, guys. I'm using those recipes in my prep right now. They're a lifesaver. This has been probably the best prep I've ever had, mentally, physically, emotionally, nutritionally. Check it out, try it out. Johnny15, guys. And guys, follow me on Instagram, _Johnny_. You're gonna get a little more behind the scenes stuff there. My stories, my reels, all those things. I'm putting everything more and more on there. I even do a lot of lives in there as well too. So send me some foodie pics, send me some training clips, send me some progress pics. I will repost it for you guys because you know what? Iron sharpens iron because if overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.